to welcome my beautiful and strong friends to the show of Women's Strength Society. Today we are talking about female strength standards. Like, how strong should a woman be? Why do we actually set strength numbers, like goals for our clients? Why is it important? And yeah, we'll give you some takeaways so that you can set some goals to hit some big numbers in the gym.
Yeah. So first off, I don't think that any woman should get strong, but she can decide whether she wants to get strong or not. That's one thing.
But it's a good thing to be strong.
It's a good thing to be strong.
It makes you independent. Yeah. It makes you independent.
Yeah. No, I absolutely think it's a good thing to get strong. Point is, so it's not an obligation. That's what I wanted to say. But you may want to know why we do use certain numbers in the coaching to help women get stronger, obviously, but also look differently.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because most of the time the women want to look better. They want to change the look. Yeah. And they always think just of like the body and the aesthetics and how they look and looking themselves in the mirror and being maybe unhappy about how they look and stuff like that. So they are very focused on the picture in the mirror, and then also on the scale, because this is like connected. How do I look? How much do I weigh?
Yeah, and both of those are outcomes. And it's not something that you can just change and that you go in front of the mirror or on the scale and then you think about it and then boop, it's a different number on the scale, or you look differently. So you have to do things differently in your everyday life to look different and to have a different number on the scale.
Exactly. And what I've also seen, or what I'm recognizing, is that more and more women are, especially when I'm having them maybe on the phone, talking to them or messaging. They're saying, hey, when I'm asking, hey, what's your goal or where do you want to be? They always say, hey, I don't care about the number on the scale. So the women start to shift their focus away from the number on the scale, because the number is not saying like that much. It's not the whole truth.
It's not the whole picture.
It's not the whole picture. Yeah. It can give you a pretty good, it's a good data point you can use to adjust things.
It's one information that you need to interpret in the context of everything.
Exactly. Yeah. And just because the number is going down and you're maybe losing body fat, it doesn't mean that you will create the look you're after. So that's why strength training comes into place, and focusing on performance and setting performance goals in the gym and not purely focusing only on the aesthetics. Yeah.
Maybe can you tell us why there's a connection there between the weight you are moving in the gym and the way you look?
Yeah, because you need to create the shape you are after. So most of the time you are losing body fat to get like slimmer and you want to look more defined. And then you end up being a slimmer, tinier version of yourself, but there's not a lot of shape there. Yeah. So we need to build some muscle, and to build muscles, we need to train and get stronger in the gym.
Yeah. Cool. And why do you use then certain numbers? Because, I mean, we are totally different. Of course, I'm not a woman.
You're not a woman.
Man. So that's pretty clear from the get-go. But also our clients are different, have different body type.
Sure.
Why would you use certain specific numbers?
To have a goal. to have something to work towards too. Yeah. Because when you just say, hey, I want to get stronger, that's cool, but like, what is the next benchmark you want to hit? Like, what is one like one benchmark. There can be like several ones for like different training levels. And then you can progress and pick always the next benchmark. But what is like the next for you personally, like for the one client? I think it's super cool to have that because it gives you more clarity in the process.
Okay, this is super interesting because so what I hear you say is that you use that for one as a motivation tool.
Absolutely.
So because it's going to drive you to want to push to reach the next benchmark.
Yeah.
And also like to plan and to get clarity for your process.
Yeah. And I remember myself back when I saw for the first time like this is very similar to ours, similar like female strength standards benchmarks. And I saw that I'm on like level zero. Like really
beginner.
Yeah, really beginner. And I was like, oh, there are so many levels above me. There are like women pulling like triple their body weight from the ground at the same body weight that I had. So I was like, wow, this is like,
it's crazy.
This is super crazy. I can't imagine that doing myself, but somehow it's possible. And it just showed me how much work and effort and dedication and time is invested in this specific goal. And that made it very, it motivated me a lot.
Okay, this is absolutely not the answer that I was expecting.
Sorry.
No, but it's great. It's very interesting to hear this because the answer that I was expecting or that I was looking for was more like the mechanism of how that works to create that shape and what's the connection with the strength training.
No, you are the one who is the brainy. You are the one who's the brainy one. I'm like the inspirational.
But that's also why I'm thinking this way, or that's why I was expecting that answer from you.
No, but I see it. I saw it with myself with these like strength standards, but also I see it with my clients, and I would never pick an exercise which they don't like to perform or like nobody needs to do a specific exercise like a back squat. We can also do a hack squat or a pendulum or a leg press or whatever. Yeah,
different variation of those.
A different variation of a squat pattern. But and I would never like set a benchmark for them, a goal for them that is so high that it takes like 3 years to get there.
Or it's unattainable and demotivating.
Exactly. But when we are working with our clients and we have this like first 1 year we are working together, I want them to hit specific numbers in the gym.
So you have numbers in your head where like, hey, I know we are going to get there. Yeah. And it's cool because I know how much it will motivate them. And I also know on another level that how much it will give them in terms of confidence reaching these numbers and remembering themselves back and being like, hey, 1 year ago I started with 30 kilo on my trap bar and now it's like end of the year, like 1 year later, and I'm lifting 100 kilo. I was going to ask what are some of these numbers?
We have like this whole list of them. It's separated into different also like how many training years. Like how many years you are training. But the first one we want to hit is squat with body weight. And that also depends now on the exercise, but I'm speaking about the back squat. So squatting body weight, deadlifting 1.2 times, 1.5, sorry, times your own body weight.
So for someone who weighs 60 kilo, then
90 kilo.
You want her to be able to lift 90 kilo.
Exactly. And back squat 60 kilo. And then the first benchmark for the upper body is to do pull-ups. Be able to do pull-ups.
Cool. And
maybe 1 to 3.
What are some of the strongest girl that you are coaching right now? What are they lifting?
We have our CrossFitter. Like you are coaching her, but she's actually the strongest one with 150 kilo deadlift.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
150 kilo deadlift is like. Is it 150 last year?
150 last year,
it's
last
crazy.
December. She weighs, she's quite tall and she has muscle.
Yeah.
So she weighted at that time just shy of 80 kilo, I think.
Yeah.
So it's almost twice body weight for a conventional deadlift 1 reps, which is super, it's strong.
That's very strong.
Yeah.
And then I don't want to mention all the names and give that away. But deadlifting more than 100 kilo for reps.
Yeah.
With like 70 kilo body weight. Stuff like that, or 80 kilo back squats for a body weight of maybe like 65, 60, around that.
Those are quite strong.
And then also some strong pull-ups with like added weight.
Yeah.
With like added, how much was it?
25
pounds.
Yeah.
It's like 10, 12 kilo.
Yeah.
Added on the pull-ups. And
I have
also
2 clients that do so 9 and 10 chin-ups.
Yeah.
So it's not uncommon.
Yeah, it's not uncommon. So we have a very high focus on performance and being also very picky, I think, when it comes to training, execution, and pushing them also in the gym.
Yeah, so it's not like the weight on the scale is a testament to the process that you did the work and that what you're doing is working. It's the same with the weight in the training. So it's not that you should just chase the numbers and move those weights regardless of what's happening and regardless of the form and the technique. But we
also paying a lot of attention to that and adding like sneaky pauses and sneaky slow eccentrics to also sometimes bring the control back, control over the movement so that you can then peak again and hit some high numbers.
Make sure that the technique that is being used during those peak performances is the same than during the training, because what we don't want to see is just chasing the numbers and then the technique is going to change and gradually get worse and worse and worse. Because I remember last year you had one client, she made crazy progress and she was grinding really a lot of her sets, and you showed me the progress, and it was always the same technique, and it looked every time kind of the same. It was super grindy, but it was always the same technique and the same form, which means that her body was conditioned to use exactly that movement pattern, and then it was safe, or it's you cannot really predict like injuries, but it was the same movement pattern than it was before, and she gained, I think, almost 30 kilo on her deadlift.
Yeah, it was crazy
within 6 months, which is quite a lot. So it was very interesting. But then I wanted to ask you, like, what are if someone's like now listening, thinking about, hey, I want to set some strength numbers. What can a woman add in a year on deadlifts or on squats or on hip thrusts? Let's take the lower body things. I know a lot of our clients love the bench press, but we will not talk about the bench press today. But what are like rule of thumb in a year? What can you expect when you are not that on a very elite level, advanced level training, but you have a lot of potential to get out of your training? Between 20 to 40 kilo, depending on the lift. Most of the time, it's a bit easier to add quite a lot of weight on the deadlifts. And because there's also a lot of neural adaptation, so your body is just going to get efficient at moving that weight. And it's not going to be so much at the beginning, so much muscles, but it's more going to be just like your body learning the skill of moving that kind of weight, learns the coordination. So there are some big gains to be made there. For the squat, the movement is a bit more complex.
Yeah.
And
you're also not pushing that often to failure. It's
more difficult to grind or to push, or it's not that so much more difficult, but it's more how can you say that?
It takes
intimidating.
More, yeah, especially.
Intimidating. So when you go with a heavy squat, you go down and then you think about, because somewhere in your mind, then your brain is just playing with the idea that you might not come back up, and it's pretty scary. Whereas with the deadlift, then the worst that could happen is that the weight doesn't move, or you just let it fall down. Yeah. So it's not as intimidating as having a lot of weights on your back. Yeah. And this is definitely one of the reasons, also because the squat is a bit more technical, and I think there are a bit more morphological implication, so to speak. So the proportion of your body are going to be...
How long is your femur?
Yeah. This is going to be to play quite a big role in the squats, a bit more so from what I can see with our clients than with the deadlift. Yeah. Yeah. Cool. So I think, between 20 to 40 kilo.
This is for something who has good proportions for a back squat. Yeah. We wouldn't push someone into like, hey, you need to add 30 kilo on your back squat if the movement is not fitting really, or the exercise is not really fitting to your morphology.
And it's also always dependent on the equipment you have available. Yeah, sure. Because, for example, I've been coaching my sister the last month. She's got crazy long femur, so it's difficult for her to get really super low in a squat. But she doesn't have like a proper leg press or a hack squat or pendulum, which means it's difficult for her to get into full knee flexion to really hit the quads. But we find out that she has a safety bar squat, which means she can have her hands in front of her body, and with that and a good heel elevation, then she can go quite low and have a very good flexion in her knees.
Yeah, I mean, this is where a coach comes in pretty handy. Yeah, I mean, exercise selection and finding the right exercise for your body is very important and makes a difference, because if you can switch the exercise to one that is more where you can move more efficiently, you will get better gains. Better gains. Better gains.
Better gains.
Better gains.
Better gains. So this is something that we really have to take into account. Yeah. I also want to touch briefly, because you said, hey, a lot of our girls, they like to bench press, and we are going to focus only on the lower body. And I think there's something to be said about getting stronger also for the girls in their upper body. Yeah,
it's super important,
because
I'm not saying, sorry, don't get me wrong, I didn't say like it's not important. Yeah. I just said we will not talk about bench press goal numbers today in the podcast.
Yeah, no, I understand that. Okay. It's just I want to give good information, good advice, good tips. And by the way, if you like them and you enjoy what we are saying, then please subscribe, leave a comment, and help us grow. That would be very appreciated. But what I wanted to say about upper body strength is that it's going to be complementary to what's happening in your lower body, because for instance, when you do a deadlift, you do have to have some strength in your hands, in your grip, in your arms, in your back to be able to hold the weight.
Yeah.
And if you can do a few pull-ups, then you are definitely going to have more strength than if you cannot. And
Absolutely.
if that's the case, then you are going to just be able to hold the weight better when you are doing a deadlift.
Yeah. So we are definitely not the type of coaches who are just giving you glute exercises.
Nope.
Glute pump exercises. You need to get like good in training and build up strength.
Yeah, in the upper body.
In the upper body to support your lower body exercises.
It will be super helpful, and in your everyday life it's going to be very noticeable, because when you have more strength in your upper body, it's going to be way easier to carry stuff around.
Yeah.
Like if you need to move the couch or whatever, your groceries, then it's going to be way easier. Yeah. Furniture, it's going to be way easier if you have strength in your upper body.
My question for you, why is it important? Like we're always talking about, there needs to be a minimal, like basic level of strength that we want to.
I thought you never ask.
That we want to build.
At least
like the one where we say, hey, if you reach that level, you have like a good base of strength, and from there we can build then up. But it needs to be. Yeah,
this is a very good question, and this is very, very important thing if you want to transform body.
Yeah, because I got some messages that hey, I don't want to lift that heavy. I don't not everyone wants to lift that heavy, and I thought but you don't need to lift like your 1 rep max. You don't need to be a power lifter. You can also do your 10-15 reps. I don't care. Whatever you prefer, like program to yourself.
Yeah.
But there needs to be a base.
So both of these things are important, but they are a bit different. And I think the second one you just touched on is going to be a topic for a different episode. But at the beginning, your body is just not that good at moving heavy weights. It's just the way it is. Like the coordination is off. Your body doesn't know how to tell to your muscles that they have to work.
Yeah, it's like, what's happening here?
Yeah, and to produce some tension, and it's just like it's a lot like learning how to ride a bike. At the beginning, you suck, and then when you do it, you get better at it. And then at some point you can do it without the small attachment wheels. And then at some point you can do it without your hands.
And some tricks.
And then you can do some tricks maybe. And then for the people that get very good at it, then they can do some backflip and so crazy stuff. Point is, at the beginning, you just have to learn how to move that weight and to coordinate your body. And this is something that is while doing it, you are already going to get stronger.
Yeah.
But at this point, you are not going to build a lot of muscle. You are just going to learn how to move better with that weight, to manage your center of gravity, a center of mass, and it takes quite a long time to reach the point where the body is going to have to build muscle in order to get stronger, because you can really become very, very efficient at moving those weights with the muscles that you already have, if you really train that way.
Yeah. So what is this? I already mentioned it, but what is this base strength level for the lifts?
Okay, so
just to recap that.
Yeah, what we use mainly is 1.5 times your body weight when you do a deadlift, your body weight when you do a squat, definitely one chin up, and maybe 0.7 time your body weight for a bench press.
Yeah.
0.8.
0.8.
0.8. It's more like it. And this is going to give you a base where the tension is going to be sufficient, or the probability of the tension placed on your muscle is higher, that this is going to be enough to build muscle. Because to build muscle, you have to work. And work in that sense is not just like work. Take it.
It's force times distance.
Yeah, force time distance. And distance is just in essence how much reps you perform. And then force is really how much tension you are going to create against the resistance in order to move that weight.
Yeah.
And the thing is, if the only weight that you're moving, the resistance that you have is 1 kilo for your movement, then you have to do so much distance, so much reps, to have some kind of significant work in order to have some growth in your muscle, that is going to take you forever to do this. So we want to have like a basic level of strength, so that when you go into the gym, the time that you spend there is going to be effective at producing some muscle growth.
Yeah, otherwise you're training like 3, 4, 5 hours to do all of the reps.
Yeah.
That will then create eventually enough tension in the muscle.
Yeah, and there's something that also that I find very, very helpful, one perspective that I found very, very helpful for this, because when you look at worker, like construction worker that have to carry some loads, most of the time they don't carry a lot of weights, and they also don't really go close to failure. So it's difficult to say whether they really train in a range that's supposed to be hypertrophic or to lead to a muscle growth. But most of the time they do have some muscles, like they are massive. Yeah. And then it kind of bring the question, so but why is that? And it's because across their entire career and life, they just carry a lot of weight. Yeah. So it's a lot of distance. They do use some force to do this. And just because of the sheer amount of volume that they do have some kind of demand and need for muscle growth. Yeah. And your father, for example.
Yeah, I was also thinking about my dad, because he's carrying a lot through his whole career of working.
And his machines are not super heavy. It's like 30 kilo each. Yeah. So when he lifts that, it's like 60 kilos. So it's way less than his body weight. It's not like one benchmark that we're going to use, but he has quite a lot of strength. And he's
going like up the stairs in the
up and down.
So he has good muscles in the like in the arms. Yeah, definitely.
So the question is, so why can I just like lift my weight and then try to increase the reps and that kind of stuff? And my point here is, we want to take a step back and really look at the whole lifting career. Mm-hmm. And what's going to happen is, if you do get stronger and you lift properly, then you are going to get stronger, and then the amount of weight that you're going to be able to lift for the same amount of reps is going to increase, and this multiplied by the number of years you are going to lift is going to have such a big effect that this is the way you have to think if you really want to get some muscles on. Yeah. Because otherwise it's just going to be too short-sighted, too focused on just the strength, and then you are going to have mostly neurological adaptation, or it's going to be too much focus on just doing more work and the reps, and you're not going to focus on getting stronger. And we really want to have both over a long period of time. So so that you can really create magnificent shape. Yeah.
The shape.
And have a very big and profound transformation.
Yeah.
And I think this is also one of your goals. It's definitely one of mine.
Absolutely.
To stick to the process long enough to really have a big change, because I think there's a lot of potential.
Yeah.
If you think that way. And just to be in it for the long game, and using like the strength numbers that goes up, for one, as a motivation factor, but also as a proof. Measure and proof that your training was effective and that you're in fact getting bigger muscles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what we want.
That's what we want.
Bigger muscles for the girls.
Anything to add? Anything to add to this?
Not really. I'm just thinking, like, one, it's very inspiring to see strong women like lift heavy weights. It's very inspiring for me. It's motivating for me to see my numbers go up. Definitely. Yeah. Thinking about like moving 30 kilos still on my squats would be very demotivating because it would I would always do like the same stuff every week by week. And getting stronger has a very, very, it changed so much inside of me. Apart from aesthetics
as far
and
as confidence,
how I look, it added a lot of, I mean, I was always a very confident person, but it gave me like a bit more of
maybe
challenging myself, failing, doing it again, going into the machine and knowing I will hit failure, being a bit like having this little anxiety before I hit 0 reps in reserve set.
Next week I'm going to hit like 120 kilo in the hack squats.
Yeah, it's really like, and it transfers a lot to other life situations, and you are confronted with through the strength training and through trying to get stronger with a lot of these situations. Very often, because you're training 3, 4, 5 times a week. So you have a lot of touch points with that, with this kind of feeling, either positive or negative. And I think it transfers a lot to other areas of my life. So
I think it also gives a different kind of confidence. So to know that your body is capable of lifting heavy stuff.
You're like, if everything is going down, I know I can, I don't know what, be strong and save the world.